Hello everyone, welcome to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque, painting live on September 22nd at 7:01 p.m. So let me get our tablet up. And there we are. All right. Looks like we got 4 of you guys, so again, welcome to Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque, painting live on September 22nd at 7:02 p.m. So this is our box. I'm going to make sure we got it in view because I actually zoomed in a little bit so you guys can see how I put my paint on my brush for how I dry brush when I'm not on the screen and I'm just kind of dry brushing for myself, because it is just a little bit different than what I normally do for you guys and what normal dry brushing is. It's kind of a, I wouldn't say it's a wet dry brushing, but it's not quite dry brushing either. But we do save a lot of paint and it goes just a little bit faster, I think. But this is our box, how sweet it is. So we will put these guys aside, which is just onto the floor. And then I did forget to do the drawing last week when we had the comments for naming the box. So this is the Scarecrow and the name drawn was Teresa Johnson. So you can see he's pretty good size. So Teresa Johnson will be getting the Scarecrow. It sort of matches the base. So that is the drawing piece that we had. Anyone that commented on that post got to have their name put into the drawing, and I had posted a picture of that. Alrighty, so I don't have the aluminum foil tonight. I have a styrofoam plate. I did have a tile, but I don't know what I did with it, so I can't find it. So we do have our pieces, and we got as far as putting our rust on. And our next color is persimmon, but I think I didn't bring persimmon either, so I'm just going to use hot orange, which is pretty close to persimmon. It's just a little bit deeper in color, so persimmon OS484. Otherwise, I have hot orange OS439, and I'm just shaking that up good. So I'm going to put a little pile on my styrofoam plate here, and I'm hoping that there's no reflection so that you guys can see. Alright, so then I'm going to get a dry brush. Oh, this one's kind of big. Let's see, this one's a 5. I'm going to go with a size 5. So this is a 5. The Royal Majestic, and this is actually called the long one, so the bristles are longer on it, and it's a size 5 flat. So when I am usually dry brushing, like for an order, so instead of going in, well, I usually go in and get all kinds of paint, but I will go in and get the paint and work it into the brush like usual. So I have it worked in there. So these guys are two-sided, so there really isn't a front or a back. It kind of depends which way you want them to look. So to get started, I'm just going to brush back and forth, just like we did with our rust, with our hot orange or persimmon, whichever one you're using. Mowgli, get out of my water. Get. I have a cat problem here tonight. Okay, so now when I go to get paint again, I don't go in and get as much paint. I just go in and get a little bit, and I usually wipe it a few times right here on the palette instead of on the paper towel. So I'm just getting that little bit, and once that is kind of like no more paint there, that's when I stop. And then I come to my piece and I brush back and forth. So I just come to the very edge and get a little bit of paint and then work it into the brush, and then once it's no longer on this area where I was brushing, then I actually go straight to my piece. So you can see that it's still very dry, because I'm not going in and getting all kinds of paint like that and then brushing it out on the paper towel. Now I'll have to do that because I was just showing you how we normally do it. So I'm just going to brush back and forth. And so I don't normally pick up the plate either. Like, this is just to try to show you guys what I'm doing. So right here is kind of the line where the paint starts. So that's actually where I'm just going to grab some of that paint, and you can see like it just draws it over, and then I'll brush back and forth, and you can see now that's starting to get clear, like the paint is gone. So that's at the point where I then bring it to my piece and brush back and forth. So you can see it's a little bit shinier than what we normally do, but it kind of goes a little bit faster, and then you're not wasting all that paint on the paper towel. What do you call that? Yep, that's why I haven't done it. This is not wet brushing at all. Wet brushing is completely different. It's much more wetter. It really is dry brushing. It's just that I'm not wasting all that paper or all that paint on this paper towel. So like I'm just going, like, this is my little work area. I go to the edge, and like I'm not getting much at all, but it's enough that you can see that there's paint there. And I just brush until it's back down to the styrofoam, or my foil, or my tile, which is what I meant to have. And then I just go to my piece. So I just kind of like get that little bit, you can see that it was a little bit wetter, and then it gets drier. And then like it's still very dry going on the piece. So I'm trying to hold it up so you guys can see. So it's still very dry. It's just that I'm not wasting all that paint on my paper towel. And the hot orange is pretty close to the rust, so it's kind of hard to see on the piece as well. But once we get to the next color, so like I just just grab that little bit, kind of work it in the brush. Once that's kind of clear there, then I know it's like worked in there enough that it's not going to be too wet on here. So it still really is dry brushing. It's just that it's just another way of loading your brush, I guess you could say, and not wasting all that paint on the paper towel. So I kind of like swipe right along the edge of it there. So you can see there's that little bit there. So I'm going to work that into the brush. And now like it's still going on very, very dry, just like when you're normally dry brushing. But it's just like a shade damper. I don't know how else to explain it. I would still call it dry brushing. It's just, like I said, it's just a different way of loading your brush. You got to be really careful though that you don't get don't get too much, because then you're gonna have a problem. So that's why I haven't done it in the past to actually show you guys, because I don't know of anyone that does it like that. But you can see there's like a little more paint there than there is over here. You can see through it. You can see more white here and more orange over here. So I just kind of swipe along there and then work that in there. Now you can see that it's gone off of the styrofoam. And that's when I come to my piece and brush. If you think you got too much, then just brush it out on your paper towel like you normally do. But to me, it's a little bit faster because I think it's just like a little bit wetter. Still dry brushing though, and then you're not wasting all that paint on the paper towel. So not sure how to explain it other than it's just a different way of loading your brush. So like I'm just swiping and getting a little bit, brushing it out on your surface until it's not there, and then brushing on my piece. So I'm skipping like the paper towel pretty much all the time. Again, just grab that little bit and then just brush back and forth. If I think I got too much, I will wipe it on the paper towel. I have to give that a try. Yep. Yeah, like just try it. Just be aware not to get too much. If you think you got too much, then just like brush it on your paper towel like you usually do. It's really hard to see with this first coat of orange. We'll get there. So you can see like it's nice and wet layer of paint there. Like I just brush until it like sucks it up off the styrofoam. So you can see now it's pretty much gone off the styrofoam. And then I just brush on my piece. You can see like it's just a little bit wetter, but it's not really wet either. So that's why it's still dry brushing. It's just a different way of loading your brush. Dry brushing is a lot wetter. It's like I have a lot pulled over here now, so I just go over further and just keep brushing. And then I'll just come back and load it up from that same spot there. It's just I kind of hate wasting all that paint on the paper towel. So I just grab a few swipes. Like just grab it, brush it out. Right on that, whatever, if you have I use the foil or the tile. I was just afraid the tile or the foil would have too much reflection on it, so that's why I grabbed the styrofoam plate, because I forgot my tile. So I'm just going to work that around. So I'm just grabbing a little bit, like I'm not grabbing much at all. You can still see it's still like a really dry brush. Maybe if we go to we'll go to this color down here, because maybe you'll be able to see it better. Oh, let's see, what color do we use down there? Gold. Let's go to our gold. Just because I think you might be able to see it better. OS 436 gold. So we'll get some gold, and we'll turn it. Set that brush aside. Let's see, you probably have to go with that 8 here after all. Let's go with, I guess we'll go with, so I have an 8 instead of the 5. And I just like the black handled ones better. So this is just the 8 dry brush. So again, instead of going in and get all kinds of paint and wiping it out in here, I just go and grab this very little bit. And I just keep grabbing it and pulling it, and then like sucking it up on the brush. So I just come along the edge, get that little bit, so you can see there's nothing on the, usually when I start I'll wipe on the paper towel first, just because we're starting. So we'll just brush back and forth. So you can see it's still dry. It's still dry brushing. It's just a different way to load your brush. So I'm just, hopefully you can see like there's more paint right there, and I'm just grabbing it, kind of working it in the brush, and I'll just brush back and forth. So it's still dry brushing. It's just a different way of loading that brush up, and I guess not wasting so much paint. So again, I'm just going to come in, kind of side swipe it there, and then just come right to my piece. Again, just grab some of that. So does anyone else already paint like that or not? Or dry brush like that? So again, I've just come in, kind of side swipe it, then brush, kind of just brush back and forth on there and get that up into the brush. And you can see like it's still really dry, like it's not a lot of paint, but I'm just not wasting all that paint on the paper towel. Excuse me, I have to take a drink. It takes a little getting used to. But sometimes I know when I'm dry brushing with you guys, I've caught myself doing that, and you probably wonder, well, what is she doing? So that's why I just wanted to actually show you guys. But you can see it goes on just like when you're normally dry brushing. I use very old dry brushes. Yep. Do you grab the tip or the flatten the brush? You can, if you're using a round one, you're going to use the tip. I just happen to be using a flat one, and I'm just using just the very edge of it. So I tend to do this little side swiping. So you can see I'm coming with the tips, just grabbing a little bit. I draw it out into here so you can see it's wet there. So now I'll brush back and forth until this part is clear again. And then I just come to my piece and dry brush. And then I'm just going to, we'll probably just do a lot of repeating tonight just so you guys can try to figure out how I'm doing it. Again, I'm just going to swipe by. You can see I pulled some out. Brush it in there to suck it up until there's nothing on there again. And then just dry brush back and forth just like we normally would. I'm going this way because there's little up and down lines here, but when I get over here, we'll do it the way we usually do it, up and down more. I just wanted to switch to the gold so you could see it better. Again, I'm going to just side swipe that, bring that into there, and then just kind of, you can brush back and forth. I tend to just do the bottom side, and then that's the side I bring to the piece. Brush back and forth. So I do think it goes a little bit faster. I think a little bit more paint goes on, but it's still dry. Like it's not shiny and wet. That too much went on. So again, I'm just gonna side swipe that, bring that paint over into my little work area. So that was a little wet there, so I'm just gonna kind of brush it out. You don't want to get it wetter than that because then you're not really dry brushing. So again, I'm just going to side swipe it, work that brush in there, and I tend to work it until this looks like there's no paint left there, because then it seems like it's almost like brushing it out on the paper towel and kind of spread that paint all over, and you don't have a big glob of it in one spot. Again, come by it, swipe it, brush, brush, brush. Come over here, do our normal dry brushing. Come over here and swipe it. Brush, brush, brush. And then just keep working my way around. So it's probably a tad bit wetter, but it's still fairly dry. Again, make sure you get your bottoms. Again, just swipe it, work that in there till this area is fairly clear, because then it's like it's spread out enough in your brush and it's not going to gob it and make it all wet. And then we're just going to brush back and forth. Again, I'm just going to swipe it. So you can see it is a little bit wetter once in a while. I try not to get it that wet, so I kind of brush a little bit, grab a little bit less this time. Okay. Just grab some, brush, brush, brush. So along where this is, I do the same, like this is all the same, it's just the loading the brush part that's different. Again, I'll start away from our crevice where our rust, our orange section is, do those little C strokes, and work up to my crevice. You can kind of see the color changing, and then just kind of work right along that. And I kind of have the brush more up and down instead of at a slant. That way I can see it's right on this edge then. So I start away from it, the crevice, and work towards it, and then once I get there, I just kind of just keep going. The stitches aren't a big deal because you'll be painting those different colors, and so if you get the gold on them, don't worry about it. Then I just kind of work my way around, grab a little bit, and then just work my way right around that edge so we can build that up with the rest of it. Grab a little bit, brush it out. Start away and then work towards it. And then I am using like the brush this way, not the wide way, because I just want this narrower edge more. So I'm using it on its edge. And then I'm also kind of standing it up to work it to that crevice. And it still takes several layers, just like before. Like none of that has changed. It's just how the brush is loaded that's changed, or that it's just another way to load your brush. Just something that I do, and I thought you guys might like it, because you're not wasting all that paint on that paper towel. And I don't want to go up and down here, because then I would have gold all over my orange, so we don't want to do that. So I just start away from it and then just brush towards it until I get right. You can just slowly see how the rust is getting covered. Just keep grabbing that little bit, and then brush, brush, brush on your plate or your palette, whatever you're using. And if you have a lot of brush marks and paint there, then it's too much. You're going to want to brush it out on the paper towel, but you just need a little bit. All right, so now we can go back to our bigger swipes, and those are just like usual. So I'll just bring it up again. So I have the brush kind of flat when I'm doing this, and I just kind of side swipe the very tip of it. Bring that paint. So hopefully you can see that paint there. Then I brush into it, and now this part, the paint isn't there anymore like it is right here. So once it's like not there anymore, then that's when I go to my piece, because then there's like enough in the brush that I can dry brush on my piece. So now there's nothing coming out again. So again, I'm just gonna side swipe that, bring that paint. So you can see we got wet paint right here, and it's not much. And then I'm just gonna brush, 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 and kind of work that up into the bristles. And so now that's kind of clear, and there's no paint there. And now I come over here and then do my brushing. And so I'll just keep doing that. So are you guys able to see it well enough to see what I'm doing? Does it make sense? Let me see. I've never seen this before. It makes a lot of sense. Does it make a difference, flat or round? Nope, flat or round will work. I use both. Patty says she's different. Okay, yep. No, it's not a mistake. It's just a different way to do it, and like nobody really teaches that. I've seen at least one other person do it that way. It was actually Patty at the local shop here, who's no longer with us. So that's probably when I started doing it, when I seen her doing it, because it just makes a lot of sense. You don't waste all that paint, because we really do waste a lot of paint on our paper towel. But I mean, that's just another way. The way that people have always been taught to do it is to brush that brush out on there. I mean, if you're not good at grabbing this little bit like that, then you're probably going to want to stay with the paper towel. So let's see. Lisa Lake says, hated brushing all the paint out. Yeah, so I think I need some of those flat brushes. Yeah, I do like the flat brushes. So it's just I mean, it's still dry brushing, because you can see it's really going on there dry, just like before. It's just that we're not wasting all that paint on the paper towel, and I think, to me, it seems to go a little bit faster. I'm not sure, but it seems like it to me. So I just grab it, dry brush it, and I use the flat or the round, whatever. They all work. And then just dry brush as usual. So that's kind of wet there, so I would then actually go and brush it out again on the paper towel, and that'll happen occasionally, but not too often, because it's just something to get used to. You'll after you do it a while, you kind of know how much paint to grab and how much to brush it out. So I'd still use the paper towel a little bit, but nowhere's like, look at this, we haven't wasted hardly any paint tonight. So that's just something different to show you guys. So just grab that little bit. So now I actually got I grabbed quite a bit there, so then I came over here and like I'll brush it out over here until this area is clear and let that wet stuff there till the next time. So you can see it's pretty kind of wet there, but it's fine, like it's not, because we have to bring all this up to the gold color anyway. So now I'll go back where I already had brought that paint out and grab that now and just brush that till it's clear. Again, you can see it's going on fairly dry, just like always. Just grab a little bit, brush it. Grab a little bit, brush, 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 and then brush, brush, brush on here. Going across all your crevices just like usual. Grab a little bit. And once in a while, you'd like, was a couple little streaks there, but I have a ways to go yet with my gold, so it's just all going to blend in there. So I would still call it dry brushing. It's just a different way to load your brush. That's the only thing I can think to say. So he's got a nice little layer on him, so we'll actually set him down and go to our one of our other ones. So again, we'll just bring it in so you guys can see it. So this is fairly clean here. It's just we got that, like the stain of the color. I'm going to swipe along it, just on the edge. So hopefully you can really see I'm not getting much paint at all. Right there's my wet paint. I'm going to brush, brush, brush until it's no longer on there. And if you want more, you can just grab a little bit more. But brush, the important thing is to brush it out so that there's a lot of paint here, because then it's spread out in your brush. So let's see. Excuse me, I have to take a drink. So we got our little two-sided guy here. So we're going to go across his little crevices here. So you can see it's going on dry, just like how we normally have it going on dry. But we haven't wasted any paint. Again, I'm going to come on here, just side swipe it. Take my little side swipe and work that up into the brush. And then just come right on, or just keep right on going. So that's really the only big change that I do when I'm not on the camera. That's how I dry brush at the classroom when I make your guys' samples, or if I'm making an order or something. Just kind of hate to waste all that paint. So I'm just grabbing that little bit that was kind of a little straggler there. So again, just grab that little bit, brush, brush, brush. So you can see it kind of does go on, I think more, a little bit heavier. So to me, it seems to save time when I'm doing the samples and stuff. You just want to be careful that you don't get too much. And if you ever think you have too much in your brush, just brush it out on your paper towel like you always did. So I'll be interested to see now if you guys try this and you like it, or you have trouble with it. If I could explain it a better way, I don't know. Because I still feel like it's dry brushing. It's just grabbing that little bit, working it in there, and then brushing. Again, grab that little bit, work it in there. Grab a little bit. See, I pulled it over here. I kind of left some of it there because I know that that would be too much if I used all of it. So we're going to start away from our orange edge here and work towards that and get our color up in there too. So I have this little stringer here, so I'm just going to actually grab that this time. Work that in there, maybe grab just a little bit more. So you can see I'm really not getting much. I'm not putting a lot of paint in that brush like we usually do. and then brush that all out on that paper towel. So you're actually going to save paper towel and paint. Sometimes I have some ladies that will come in and like they just get gobs of paint and they brush and brush and brush like that. That's just so, you're like wasting so much of your paint. Because it really doesn't take much. Just grab that little bit, brush it out, come to your piece, and brush. Again, we're going to grab a little bit, brush it out. Grab a little bit, brush it out. The cat is eating something. I don't know what he got into. Grab a little bit, brush it out. And I'm just working along our little edge here to get that up to the crevice. Grab a little bit, brush it out. So we'll turn it here so you guys can see, hopefully. So again, I'm just going to grab that little side swipe, work it into the brush till it's like a clean palette there. And then come over here and dry brush just like we always are used to. Grab some and brush it out. So our September month is flying by, you guys. I think I have to invoice you on Sunday already. So let's see, let me catch up with the so Lucy says she likes it. Hated dry brushing, wasting all the paint. It's like a good way to paint. I'm going to try it. All right, glad you guys are going to try it. If you do have questions, like you can message me. Just take a picture, message me. The biggest thing is like just don't get too much. Just don't grab too much paint until you get used to it, and then like you can grab. You'll be able to grab more as you go. I just want to make sure you don't grab too much because you're still dry brushing. Like you can see, it's still dry brushed. Like I'm actually holding the plate down when I grab it so it's not moving with my little finger, so then I just side swipe, bring it over to the middle and wipe it, or brush it I should say. So it's a tile works a little bit better for this this loading part of it too, because it kind of has a little more weight to it. Then you don't have to like hold it down with your finger. And just keep grabbing our paint, working it in that brush, and then just keep brushing around. So we actually have a freeze warning, I think, for tonight, because we went from 80s this week to, I think the high was like 59 today. So we've finally had fall arrive here, which I think tomorrow might be the first day of fall. Okay, so he's got a nice little layer on him, so we'll actually go get these other little guy, get this little guy. Again, just to show you at the beginning, I have my brush, I don't have it like straight up, I have it kind of at a more of an angle. I just kind of drag it on the paper plate. And then just kind of catch that little edge there like I'm side swiping it. Bring that paint over here so you can see we have a little bit of paint here now. So now I'll grab that and just brush back and forth until that's like I can see through it and see the styrofoam again. And if I think I have too much, I can still brush it on my paper towel. But otherwise I just come to my piece. Brush back and forth. You can see there's plenty of paint in there, and we're still dry brushing like it's not wet. So again, now it kind of wasn't coming out, so I'm going to come along here, side swipe it, bring that paint over there, and then I can just grab it, brush, 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 come to my piece, and then just do our normal dry brushing. And so we skip the paper towel altogether, and then we're not wasting paint. And once you get used to it, it goes, I think it goes faster than all that brushing on the paper towel. So I'm just starting away from my little crevice and then brushing back and forth until I get to it. Or you can do those little C strokes, kind of whatever works for you. Like I tend to change how I'm doing it. This is a pretty straight line without a lot of detail, so I can kind of just go back and forth until I get up to the black there. So we'll just work our way around. I start away from it and work up to it. And then once you're up to it, you can kind of see where the paint is going on, and then you can kind of just like keep going until you run out of paint. Again, just grab that little bit, brush, 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 and then come on to here. Again, because I have this crevice, I do have my brush more vertical, and then I'm using the edge of it, so I'm just brushing back and forth that way. I got some water on there, so we got to wipe that off. We'll have orange paint instead of yellow. Again, I'm just brushing right along my little crevice there. I don't want to do big back and forth marks that way, because otherwise then I'll have to touch up all my rust. You could switch to a smaller size brush if that's more comfortable for you. I tend to just use the brush that I'm using. So now we'll get the rest of this. Again, I just swipe along it, drag it to the center, and then brush, brush, brush. Swipe along it, and then brush it out, and then come to your piece and brush. So we want to get a nice layer on here, and then we'll go to our, we'll do the other one, and then we'll come back to these, because they tend to dry while you're working on another one, and then like your next coat will go on better, instead of trying to get this all the way to its finished point. So he's got a nice first layer on him here, so we'll set him aside. Let's see, any other comments going on? Same here, Brenda Cole today. Yep, okay. Alrighty, so again, swipe it, draw that paint in there, and then just brush, brush, brush until it's not on the paper plate or your styrofoam plate. And now we'll just brush back and forth. So you can see, like, it's going on just like normal dry brushing. Like, there's not a lot going on, unless you grab too much, then it might. But if you think you grab too much, just brush it out on your paper towel like usual. But you can, once you do it a few times, like you'll be able to tell that there's how much you're grabbing is enough or not enough. It really isn't much at all that you grab. So again, I'm kind of working along this edge again on this one. I don't want to go big up and downs, because then I'll have to fix my rust, so I'm just going along my little line here. Sometimes I do the little C-stroke things. This kind of just going back and forth here is working really good, so that's what we're doing. And then just working our way around it. So yeah, I got to see Courtney today for about an hour, so that was nice. I'm working on pouring your box. I did start a November album. I know a few of you have seen that. It has like a pre-order in it for the Mako Lava Tree, and it's just so that I know what kind of numbers that I'm going to need, and you won't be invoiced for it until the November box, and our November box is the holly tree. So I think I'll pull a few more Christmas tree things that can be add-ons for that November box. So now that was kind of wet, so I'm going to brush that out on my paper towel. But you can see, like, normally, I don't have an old paper towel here, but usually, like, our paper towel is soaked up with tons of paint, and we have hardly any paint on it tonight. So all our paint is going on our piece instead of on our paper towel. So the November album is started, but it only has the lava tree, and then it does have two different ways that the lights are cut out, so you can post which one you want if you want to, like, pre-order it. And I do have 2 molds of it, so I should be able to make sure everyone gets what they want. So I did cut out the Jolly Tree this afternoon with the Grinch on him, so I'm thinking about putting him in the album. The thing is, the Grinch is kind of a copyright thing, so, like, I'll just put it as a Jolly Tree cutout. I won't put it that it's the Grinch. So that's just one of those things. Yep, I miss Courtney too, you guys, for sure, because we used to talk every day on the phone, and now I hardly get to talk to her at all, so she doesn't call every day like she used to. Alright, so we worked our way around this guy. Just keep grabbing my little bit of gold, brushing it out. And I don't know, to me, I just think it builds up faster. I don't know why. And maybe it doesn't, but to me it seems like it does. The color builds up a little bit faster. Alright, so we got that on all of those. And we'll come back to our first one. And again, I'm just going to swipe along there, get that paint, brush it in there, brush it out. Normally I don't brush it out. That seemed like that was a little wet, so I did. And then we're going to brush along our groove here again. Still waiting to hear when the Waukesha show will be next year so that we can get the Fashion Hues retreat going and posted. So just grabbing that little bit of paint, brushing it out till it's kind of clear on there. And now coming to my piece and just working it on there. So we want to get this gold more covered so that we only have the black in the crevice there and maybe a few up and down ones. But like I can see black through all of this here yet, so we need a lot more of our gold yet. These guys are fairly smooth, so that it makes them a little bit harder to dry brush, but some people think you can't dry brush on smooth. You can, it just takes a little bit more dry brushing. So we'll just keep working our way around here. I did start pouring your November box, which is the holly tree, because I'm hoping I can post that as extra in that November album too, if anybody wants like an extra tree. Because I wasn't smart enough to get a couple extra molds of it, so I thought if I started pouring early, I'd be able to offer some extra ones. Alright, so just keep grabbing our gold. And then just brush it out on that your palette. I have the styrofoam plate here tonight. And then come to my piece and brush. If I think I got too much, I will brush it on the paper towel yet, but generally I don't have to, because you get to know how much paint you can grab without making it too wet. And then just working my way around the piece, so now we need a little bit more of our gold here. And again, it's just the same thing. Even though I have a new pile, I'm just going to side swipe it, pull it over there, and then brush, brush, brush. And then I can come on to my piece here and do my normal dry brushing. That nothing has changed about that tonight. Just trying to show you guys how I do it when I'm doing your samples or an order. Like I just grab a little bit, brush on the plate there, and then brush back and forth on here. Again, just side swipe it, brush it out. Don't forget our bottom. So Sunday, I believe, is the 25th already, so I'll have to start invoicing you guys. I know you've been shopping, so if you have to shop yet, don't forget that the October album is out there, because October is sneaking in here on us really quick. Let's see, I had to order kiln parts for the little Duncan kiln that I got for out at the classroom, and it's called the Teacher. It's an energy saver thing. It goes like on I'm able to plug it into the dryer plug-in out there because it's only 24 amps, but it's to fire some glaze stuff out there so I don't have to cart it home. And I actually had to call Canada to get the elements for it. Like, I couldn't find them anywhere in the United States made, so I had to, it's called Euclid, EUCLID. Ceramics, and they do kiln parts for the Duncan stuff now, because I had contacted Mako and they told me the ceramic shop and they didn't have them, and they told me this Euclids, which I called like a week ago, and they came today already, so I was happy with that. So I may go to the classroom tomorrow and take the elements out of that one and put the new one in, but usually there's two rings on one, and then there's like usually like 8 rings all together. So this guy's got 8 rings and they're all separate. So I'll have to take each one out, and it'll be a little bit more work. But anyone that has that Duncan Teacher's kiln seems to really like it. So I thought it would be worth sticking the extra money into it. And so that was a little wet. I got to brush that out, because it wouldn't heat up. So I thought, well, if I replace the elements, it should last quite a long time for me. All right, so we're just going to work our way around again. Again, grab that little bit, brush on the styrofoam, and then brush on your piece. How's everyone that took the mosaic class? Are you guys getting your stuff mosaicked? You guys can post your pictures in this group too if you want to, just to share them with everyone. Alright, so I come back around. He's looking pretty good. He probably needs another coat or two, but we're going to let him dry and go to our other one so you can see how far we've come. You can see there's quite a bit on the girl already compared to the boy. Watching for it to cure. Okay, waiting for it to cure, yep. I mean, there's really nothing to see about it curing. It just needs that time to cure, and then you can seal it. Like, it won't change really how it looks. It's just a matter of it drying and curing. Oh, so that's a little wet, just like normal dry brushing, so we don't want that. So I'll brush that out after I brush my brush out on the paper towel. So we'll grab our paint, brush it out on the styrofoam, and then come back to our piece here. So I'm not grabbing much paint at all, so hopefully you guys seen that. That's probably the biggest thing with skipping the paper towel part. Like, just make sure you don't grab much paint, and then you brush 5 or 6 times to get it up into those bristles. And then brush on your piece. So again, just grab a little bit, brush. And we'll just keep working our way around here. Go around, kind of like the merry-go-round, round and round we go, building up our color. Oh, I think I added the mummy, the Big Clay Magic mummy to the, I know some of you guys shopped already, but I did add a couple things yesterday or the day before. I added the gangbuster size corn, candy corns. And then I added a mummy, the Big Clay Magic mummy that can light up. So I don't think I'll be adding anything else this month. What's there is probably what there is. And then it's almost time to start thinking about Christmas already here in November. I thought I was calling early to have my furnace looked at, and they're already into November, so just like that, like a whole month was gone. It's like November, wow. So we're in September, but they're making appointments for November already, so it's 30 years old, so I think it's time to probably get it replaced here before our winter, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm just grabbing a little paint, brushing it out on the styrofoam, kind of works it up into the brush, and then right onto my piece. So we're just doing a little bit of a different technique as far as loading our brush tonight, but we're still doing our normal dry brushing. Just grabbing that paint, brush on the styrofoam or your tile or whatever you guys use. Brush. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that tonight, learning just a different way to load your brush. Kind of, as you can see, we've saved a lot of paint. It's not on our paper towel, where we usually have a couple pieces of paper towel. It's just a different way to load the brush, basically. Still dry brushing. I wouldn't really call it wet brushing, because you still want it quite dry. And then, as usual, you want those like 3 shades of your color, your dark, your medium, and your light. So we have we could say our black is our dark, and our gold is our medium, and then our, what color did we use? Then our pale yellow is our medium color, so that's where we have our dark, medium, and light. So that's how you get your nice shading on your pieces, and your just gives your pieces more dimension by doing that. So we have our dark black down in our crevices. Now we're putting our medium value color on, which is our gold. And we do one piece and go to the next piece, and then kind of let that piece is drying, so we come back and it'll take the paint nice or better, easier than trying to build up wet paint. Keep grabbing that little bit, brushing back and forth. So these guys do take a little bit of time, just because they're kind of not a whole lot of texture on them, but I think they turned out really cute. You wouldn't have to dry brush them. You could paint them out and then antique them by taking black or black brown and thinning it with thin and shade or with water, and then wiping it or brushing it on there and then wiping it off, and then you would have it down in the crevices. The only thing with that is it's going to dull the colors a little bit too. Even though you're adding the color in the crevices, you do kind of lose the true color of your piece. You could seal it and then do it. That kind of helps you not lose that true color. But then sometimes the antiquing doesn't want to stick as well, so it kind of depends what you prefer to do. Alright, so we got a nice lay on there. We'll put him down so you can see we're moving along with our yellow. Let's see, do you have the October box tea light with you? I do not. So I can post a picture so you guys can see a difference. So the top that your vase is coming with the tea light top. It's shallow. It's so that a tea light will fit in it, and you guys will also be getting the tea light in your box. And then you can add the votive one, which it's about this deep, probably 2 inches deep. And that one is an add-on in the bisque. So you could actually put a votive candle in it. But I can post a picture so you guys can see the difference. So you can see them side by side. So the votive one is in the add-on bisque. But I only got one of those molds, so I can't do a... I think I just have 10 for this month. But I could do more again next month. So the one that's coming with your vase or your candle holder will be the tea light one. And it's real shallow. It's probably like 3/4 of an inch. A tea light is going to fit in that one. And that's just how deep it is inside the candle holder. And then you will get the tea light with it too. So I don't think I'll be out to the classroom until Saturday. So, well, I have greenware here, so I can actually take a picture of the greenware and post it. So you can see them side by side. If you're wondering what the difference is. Let's see. Exactly why I was asking. Yeah. Yep, so the one that's coming with it is more shallow. It's like the tea light. Like a tea light's not very thick, like a 1/2 inch. And then the other one is thicker, so like the regular votives that you can buy, the votive candles will fit in the other one. And it'll fit in the tea light one too. It's just that it's going to stick out above it. So I'll just take a picture of the greenware and post it. That way you can see the difference. But your vase is coming with the tea light one and then the tea light as well. So it's really a cute little cute vase. And like you wouldn't have to put a tea light in it. You could put sunflowers and leaves and cattails and stuff in it too. Like actually use it as a vase, I think, which is probably, I would actually like it like that. So that was a little wet and shiny, so I'm just going to brush my brush out on my paper towel just because I'm talking and not paying quite as much attention to how much paint I'm grabbing. So yeah, I think it'd be really cute with sunflowers in it too. So, or you could have little gourd picks with little gourds on them and just all kinds of stuff. That's why I picked it, because I thought, well, it could be a vase or it could be the candle. So it just seemed like a nice little thing. Donna's actually has a ton of those from, there's seashell ones, there's a poinsettia one, they had a ton of those impression candles. I think there's one with leaves impressed into it. I kind of like the scarecrow one just because it was kind of a nice fall thing for you guys. All right, and then we had the little scarecrow that I showed you. It kind of goes with it too. So, all right, so we switch into our other one, and again, just grabbing that little bit of paint, brushing it out on the styrofoam, and then brushing back and forth on our piece. Just go to your paper if you think you grabbed too much. Maybe you could even like practice on a piece of bisque that's not a good piece of bisque if you're afraid to try it on your corn candies. Like sometimes I'll have bisque that is a reject, so you could, like, I try stuff out on there so I'm not like ruining a good piece of bisque. But and it may take a little while for you to get used to how much paint to like grab, but I don't think it would take just too long. Just probably one piece and you'll kind of have it down. Because I'm just really not grabbing much paint at all. So we're just going to keep brushing here and get our little guys done. I was in Walmart yesterday and I couldn't believe how much the Halloween candy is gone already, and it's like not even the 1st of October. So I don't know if they're going to get more in or not. Someone had said there was a chocolate shortage, so I don't know if that's why that is, but there wasn't. You could see where the candy was, and there were a lot of empty boxes already. So I was kind of surprised at that, because it's pretty early in the season for the candy to be gone already, unless I'm just like behind. But like it's not even October, so. But I have been hearing that there's a chocolate shortage, so I don't know what or why, but fact, they're saying that you should get your chocolate for Christmas now if you can, because if you do find it, it's going to be expensive. So I don't know what the situation is with that, but apparently we got a chocolate shortage going on. So we're just brushing our little guy here and getting him with his next layer, grabbing that paint, brushing it out on the styrofoam, and then brushing our piece, just trying a different way of loading our brush instead of brushing it all out on the paper towel. Like I said, this is usually how I dry brush you guys a sample, and it's how I do my orders. Kind of been doing it for years already, actually. Alright, so he's got a nice little layer on him. I think we did that one already, so we'll go back to our first one. Let's see, we got anything? Bring them on video. Yep, I will, I can bring them next week on video too, so you guys can see them, but I don't have them here to show you. They're out in the garage. So again, I'm just going to grab that little bit of paint, brush it out, come to my piece, and then just brush back and forth like we normally do with dry brushing, with our dry brushing. And we want to get most of our black covered up. I can still see black coming through my gold, so that tells me I need another layer or 3 or 4 on here yet. I mean, I really do like the dry brushing because it really gives a lot of layers of color to your piece when you use the dark, the medium, and the light colors. And if you wanted to do additional shading, you can always grab your chalk and do additional shading too, because I know like chalk is kind of the talk on the internet right now on the Facebook group there, so you can always chalk and add extra highlighting or shadowing if you want. But really using our 3 colors, our dark, medium, and light, we're really achieving the same thing without the chalk. We will be chalking our November Christmas tree though, and then I do have the hummingbird vase and the little container that we'll be chalking next year as well. I'm still waiting to hear from Marcella's if the Creative Paradise molds come in, and they should be coming here any day, and then they'll need to dry out, and then I can decide what, because I'm probably going to change a couple of the months around, because I was able to get the snowman with all the little birdhouses stacked on it, and so I think we'll move the hummingbird out a little bit further and do the snowman one in January or February. That's actually one of my my favorite pieces, is that Creative Paradise snowman with the birdhouses. So we're just working our way around like usual. Like I'm not doing anything different with the dry brushing. It's just the brush loading. So grab that little bit of paint, brush until the styrofoam is clean, and then just come back to our piece and dry brush like we normally do. Like that nothing. I didn't change anything of that. It's just that brush loading part that I do a little bit different that I wanted to show you guys. So I did have a little dry piece in there. You don't want to get that. So you can see our corn is getting yellower on the bottom. And we're losing a lot of that black, which is exactly what we want, but we want that black down in those crevices because that's our dark value of color that's giving our shading, and now we're on our medium color. And then our pale yellow will be our light color. And then we can't forget to get the bottom. So I kind of forgot to change the hours for the classroom on the internet to say that we were open on Saturday, so I'm hoping that's why I haven't had anyone the last 2 Saturdays. So I did update that for you local ladies that we are open on Saturday from 10 to 3. I think Shawano has homecoming this weekend, so it'll still probably be a slow weekend. Fall is kind of a bad time for the classroom, just like summer, because people are so busy doing stuff before winter sets in, and you got pumpkin patch stuff going on, and festivals, and homecoming, and all that good stuff. I was able to get some red, green, and the Christmas Melody glitter. I did call and check on that last week since we had class, so we'll probably be having a Black Friday sale with that. Some of the colors are no longer going to be available, like the black and the green, and those are in the album, so what I have is all there is, so if you guys want to shop that up so it's gone, that would be good too. I guess the black and the green aren't very popular. I'm not sure why, because they're definitely nice Halloween colors. Alright, so we got a nice layer on this guy, so I think, or girl I should say, we will set her down. So you can see our colors coming around, but I can still see there's just a little bit of blotchiness on it, or patchiness, so we'll give her one more coat, but we'll let her dry now and go back to our boy. Again, I'm just swiping that little bit of paint and then brushing back and forth until my little palette area is clean. And then I come to my piece as usual and then just dry brush away here just like normal. So it's just the loading of the brush that's what's different. Just grab that little bit, work it into the brush on your palette, and then brush back and forth on your piece. If you think you got too much, just go ahead and brush it out on your paper towel. There's nothing wrong with that. So we got to get his little color built up here. So we're just going to work our way around. Otherwise, I'm not sure of no other big news really. Just waiting for the Creative Paradise molds. I probably have to get a order together for our next batch of molds for next year, because it takes like takes a good 8 weeks to get them, and then like 2 weeks to get them shipped, and then another 2 weeks for them to dry. So we're getting close to October here, so I'll probably have to think about what other stuff we want to paint for next year. We do have a grizzly bear with a cub, a Doc Holliday mold that you guys could use like for a Father's Day piece. We have those hummingbirds coming. What else? I'm trying to think what else is coming. Oh, that snowman with the birdhouses. I think we'll probably wait for Clay Magic to do their next new release. Hopefully I can wait. Although she's probably going to have winter stuff. We're probably going to be past winter with the box molds and need to get into the spring summer stuff, just because we have to order stuff so far ahead. You guys will get the light kit for your November tree. That will be your extra for that box. That's a $9.99 value, so that's a good, really big add-on and kind of a little bit of a Christmas gift there for you guys. And then I did put holes in the berries so that the light comes through. That's what I should ask you guys. Do you want white pin lights, or do you want red pin lights for your November tree? Do you want red lights or white clear lights? Our December box is going to be the Donna gingerbread ornaments. So those are really cool, the Donna gingerbread ornaments. And I did order pastry piping bags. to put, so we can like pipe our, I'm thinking I'm just going to use snow. There is model texture and different things. So I'll have to try to see what going to work the best, so we can like put like icing on our gingerbread people by putting them in putting something in those piping bags and then cutting the end off and then like piping it on there to make them look like real little gingerbread cookies. So we got red, we got clear. I could probably give you guys the option too. It just makes shipping a little bit harder, but looks like we might be half and half red and half clear, because those pin lights will be included in your box too. Alright, so we're just brushing back and forth here. He's coming around pretty good. And then again, we just showed you guys a different way to load your brush tonight. I know we have a few that just joined. So I have my paint on here, and I'm just using my flat brush. I just kind of swipe by my paint puddle and draw the paint over. So now this is wet right there, so I just brush back and forth a few times until there's like no paint there. If I have too much, I will brush on my paper towel, but usually I don't, and I just come to my piece and brush back and forth. Just like our normal dry brushing, like that hasn't changed. It's just a different way to load your brush. And then this is the paper towel that we've used tonight, so you can see we haven't wasted a whole lot of paint. Like normally that we might have 2 of those full of paint. But tonight we just have that little bit of paint on there just by showing you guys a different way to load your brush for dry brushing. And I don't know that anyone's going to tell you that that's an okay way to do it or not, but that's the way I do it when I paint your samples, and I think the stuff looks pretty good. Everybody's usually pretty happy with my painting, so just another way to do stuff. There's always more than one way to skin a cat, as they say, so I just kind of like hate wasting paint. And then to me it does seem like it is just a little bit faster way of dry brushing, like the paint goes on just a little bit heavier. I'm probably going lighter than I usually do, just because I don't want you guys to overdo it, because I don't want you to get too much paint on it. But once you get going at it, you'll figure out that you can put a little more on. Like I just had a little bit more there, but like I just really just like brush it out, and you still end up with that nice even coverage. So you can go just a little bit damper, which that's what I'm doing right here, just to get the bottom covered a little bit better, or a little bit quicker. You just don't want to overdo it. So it's probably a practice thing. So if you do overdo it, like I just did right there, now I kind of have a wet, shiny spot right there. So I actually have to let that dry, and I probably won't touch that area till the next time when I let that dry really well, and then it'll take the paint again. So you do have to be kind of careful that you don't get too much. But generally I don't. You just grab that little bit of paint and then brush it on there. So let me see, I need some more gold. So again, I have our little pile of paint. And then just to load your brush differently, just swipe by it, grab that paint, pull it over, and then brush back and forth until there's nothing in that little area there. And then you can come straight to your piece. Unless you think you have too much on it, then you can brush it out on the paper towel, but usually I don't, and it just works pretty good. And I just keep grabbing that little bit, brushing it out on the styrofoam, and then brushing, just do our normal dry brushing that we always do. So I just like not wasting all the paint, I guess, more than anything. So he's coming around here too. They'll probably take another two coats for each of them, just to get that, so we don't see all that black through the gold. So let's see, I really can't think of anything new that went on this week. We did some yard work at the classroom on Monday. Moved some flowers around and cut some of the tall grass. Oh, we put new tablecloths on the tables. I had bought some fall leaf fabric, and one of our ladies hemmed it for me and made 6 new tablecloths, and then we put clear vinyl over it. So I'll probably be taking a picture of that once I get the windows washed. That's the next project, is to get the windows washed out there. So it's nice and fresh for winter. So there's always stuff going on that's kind of behind the scenes here. I made slip yesterday. I pumped it out tonight. Poured. When I'm done tonight, I'll pour your vases or the candle holders again and take those out in the morning. I got a haircut tomorrow at 10 o'clock, so I'll probably take molds apart before that so I can pour them again later tomorrow afternoon. Saturday we have shop hours from 10 to 3. One of my sisters turns 50 on the 26th, so probably have to do a family run here and do something for her. Okay, so we got this guy kind of all the way around. So again, this little spot here that I got kind of wet, I'm actually going to let that till another time. Otherwise, that'll just keep getting wet. So we'll go to our little guys, grab that paint, brush it out, whoop, and then come on to our piece and brush back and forth just like always. Oh, I got pumpkins and gourds for the classroom, and then I got some for my house too and put those out front. I think I did that on Monday. Oh, my car broke down again with the windshield wiper, and I got that fixed. He actually did it on Sunday and got that back on Monday. And it's this little round bushing that probably costs about $1, and they don't replace that. And he had to take all the plastic and the rubber for the hood, and take the whole windshield wiper motor and the whole arms and everything out just to replace the whole thing. Because they don't replace this one little bushing that is what broke, so that's kind of crazy. But it was on the driver's side, so I pretty much had to have that fixed because we're kind of going into the winter rain and snow season here. So, and I guess that's kind of a thing with the Equinoxes, because the Chevrolet dealer had actually sold 58 of those already this year, so apparently it's a thing. But at least mine is fixed, and hopefully that's the last thing for that little bugger for a while. Because there's nothing like having car trouble. So I got a little bit too much there, so I did brush that out on the paper towel. Put him down, and again I'm just gonna show you guys again. You just swipe it along there, get a little bit, so now it's wet there. I brush that into my brush until it's kind of clear, and come onto my piece and dry brush like usual. So that was kind of our new thing tonight, is kind of how I load my brush when I'm dry brushing your samples and orders, even though we haven't done it on the lives before. That is how I load my brush, and then it does save a lot of paint from having to get brushed out on the paper towels. Once in a while I still have to brush out on the paper towel, but not too often. And then we just dry brush as usual. So I'll be interested to see. You guys will have to post if you tried it and liked it, or if it didn't work for you, because it's probably something you'll have to practice with, because you really don't want to get too much paint, because you are still, we still want to dry brush so we have our nice layers of shading and that give our piece lots of dimension and shape. Brush, brush, brush. Oh, I cleaned the carpet on Tuesday at the classroom too, because we didn't have any customers on Tuesday night. So I knew we weren't probably going to have a customer that night, so I grabbed carpet cleaner and dug out the carpet cleaner and cleaned the carpet. So we're kind of getting ready for winter out there, so it's nice and fresh and clean. And washing the windows is my next thing. And then I still have to get the lights in that extra bisque room that I added, and then I'll post a picture of that stuff too. The shelves are getting fuller. So once we get them, hopefully by the 1st of October here, I get them nice and full and get the lights hung in there, and I'll post pictures of how things are looking out there, because we kind of spruce things up a little bit, and the new tablecloths and the vinyl, and we moved around the checkout counter and all that stuff. So we actually added like 14 shelving units with bisque on them. So that's pretty wet. So I'm going to actually brush my brush out, because I'm talking here and not paying attention to how much paint I'm grabbing. So you don't want to grab that much paint. You only want to grab a little bit and then brush it out. So you'll probably see pictures of the classroom coming with changes that have been going on there. So we'll have to see. I need to spend a day or two in that storage units too, so I can get ready for winter here, kind of get a little more, get some more stuff logged. Probably try to get some more shelves put up and molds on shelves, because we do need to go get 2 trailer loads of molds here before we get into winter. We already have one of the trailer loads is already picked. We did that on Memorial Weekend, but we haven't been back yet to get them. So that's something we're kind of waiting for it to cool off a little bit. So hopefully we're at the cool stage here now that we're not in the 80s and we're in the 50s here today. So I haven't looked at the weather, but hopefully it's cooled off. So I think our gold is coming along pretty good. I think they're probably each going to need another layer yet. I will start with the invoices on Sunday. So if there's something you need that you haven't commented on in the album, you can always message me. I know I had a few messages, so you can always message if there's something you want added on. It's kind of amazing how fast the next month always gets here. It seems like I got 2 weeks to go yet, and it's already like 4 days away. And then I will post a picture of the tea light holder versus the votive holder that you're able to add on. We can add on more next month, because I wasn't smart enough and I only got 1 mold instead of there's only 1 in the mold, where the little ones, there's 3 in the mold, and I kind of didn't realize that at the time, so I only got the 1, and so that'll be a little bit shorter. But we can do those in November and December too. So all right, so we got those looking pretty good. I think we'll come back to our little girl here, and we'll put a little bit more on her. So when I say that, because when I look at it, like I can see there's black in some areas, and I really just want the black in the crevices. I want the gold on the high areas to be even. So like, hopefully you guys can see this. So like this is nice and gold right here, but now here I have a lot of black right there. This one's pretty good, but there's some black. This one's pretty good. This one's kind of shady. There's black and gold. So that's why I'm just going to give one more layer to it. So and that's the part where a lot of people don't know, you know, like, am I done or do I need more? So that's why I kind of try to explain that's why I'm putting more on, because it's not a nice even layer of my gold. So here it's kind of blackish up there, so we want to get a little bit more up there. So you just want that a nice even color of our gold, so that when we come to put our pale yellow on, we have a nice even coverage with that too, and it's not spotty or splotchy or blotchy. So it's not going to take much, but it's going to take just that little bit more that most people don't like to hear, that little bit more. But hopefully you can, like right there, there's kind of a black area, so I just want to get that with a little bit more on it. Same for right here. And then just kind of work around it. And it's really not much that's going on, but it's just enough that it makes that nice and a nice even smooth layer on that. Not so blotchy and spotty. And once it gets to about here, like, you can have less of your gold because it's going down into that seam. So that's where it is going to be darker, because there is going to be shading going on. You don't want like a big dark spot, but so you want it kind of gradual, in a gradual transition. So that actually looks pretty good and probably ready for our pale yellow next time. So here we have kind of a lot of black on the high part here, so I just want to get some more. So I still want to keep my black in those crevices, but I want to bring my gold down a little bit. So it's nice right there. That's kind of what I was looking at. So that looks pretty good. So has anybody got any questions yet for the night? Because we're getting pretty close to being done here. It's about almost 8:30. So this guy, when I look at him, I can still see black kind of through my gold. So he probably needs another two coats. He needs probably more than the other one. Like, there's a lot of black coming through yet. So that's what when I look at this, that's why I decide, do I need another coat or don't I need another coat? Because it's not even, and there's black here, black here, black here, kind of black through there, black through there. That tells me that I need another coat. So like when I look at this one, look at the girl compared to the boy, we can see that this is a lot more even in our high spots. This we have black coming through in a lot of areas. So you can see that this one isn't as even as this one that we just put down. So that's why he needs more. So hopefully you guys can see that, and that's why I'm saying that we need more. So I will put on some more, and then we'll probably call it a night here for tonight. If you guys have any questions, you can always message me. I will look at the feed later after I pour molds, and comment if I can about anything, if anybody had a question that I missed. Otherwise, I'll be invoicing on Sunday, and then you have until the 1st to pay. Look over your invoices, make sure I didn't miss something, or usually don't put something on that doesn't belong there, but sometimes we end up missing something because there's different comments on different posts, and like Facebook doesn't show them all to us every time. It's kind of a confusing thing with them, so that's why we do have the album for posting on. But always check your invoices to make sure we didn't miss something, and then you can just message me and we'll take care of it. Otherwise, you have till the 1st, which I haven't looked at when the 1st is. So if you can pay by the 1st, then I start shipping, wrapping, and all that good stuff on the 1st to about the 5th or 6th. And I think the 5th is on a Tuesday this time around. I'm not 100% sure, so their shipping may like go on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday when the classroom can be all set up. Because I do have class hours on Tuesday and Saturday, so we kind of have to fit in that because too much to do here at the house, so it's nice to have 3 days at the classroom where I can just like fill it up with all the stuff and pull and pack and weigh and send everything on its way. So hopefully you guys liked the new way to load your brush. So you can see now I went around him. He could probably use one more time, but he looks a lot better. Now this is where we had our little damp spot here, so I'm just going to dry brush that real light, and then I'll be able to build that color back up, but that's where I had it too wet, and I don't want to get it too wet again, so we'll just do that one layer and then let it sit again. But I can show you just one more time for loading. So I have my gold on here, and I just kind of side swipe it, draw that paint over here, and then brush a few times till there's like no paint there. Then we'll go to this one so you can see it, and then I just dry brush on here like usual. I like skip the paper towel altogether unless I happen to just grab way too much paint, which I tend to do when I'm talking. But then you just dry brush as normal. And these guys do all need another layer, so I'll try to do that before we get to next Thursday so we can go right to the pale yellow. But you can see a lot of the black through it yet, so those definitely need another layer or two. But just one more time, and if you have problems, just like message me. So I just take my dry brush, and it can be the round or the flat, it doesn't matter. Just swipe on there, just barely get any paint, draw it into the palette area, and then brush until that's kind of clear. And then you can go on to your piece and dry brush just like you normally do. If you think you got too much, just go ahead and brush it out on your paper towel, but just to show you, like, that's all we used tonight. And that's probably more because I was talking and got too much on. But we did not waste a lot of paint like we normally do. I would say it's still dry brushing, it's just a different way to load your brush. Not sure how else to explain it other than that. So let's see if we got any questions here one more time. So try it this weekend. All right, great. So I hope you guys enjoy it. If you don't, like, just go back to the old way. Like, it's not a big deal at all. Like, do what works for you, is what I always say. So other than that, let me see, we can put our finished ones up here so you can see them. We're getting closer. And then we will hopefully have a good week. You guys will have a good week. And we'll be invoicing. I'll be invoicing. And we will see you guys again next Thursday. I will post a picture of the tea light insert that is coming with your candle versus the votive insert that you can add, which is in the album. So I'll do that right away when we get done, just for a reference of size of how deep those cups are that sit in your candle holder, and you don't have to put them in there. Like, you could use it as a vase and put like silk or dried sunflowers in it and leaves, whatever works, you know, like, do what makes you guys happy. So other than that, thanks for joining me tonight. If you enjoyed the class, I guess give us some thumbs up, and if you have trouble, you can message me too. Otherwise, have a great week, you guys, and we'll see you next Thursday. Bye-bye. Thank you.